Okay, so I want to welcome anyone and everyone who is going to be coming on whilst I am going to be doing this really special and really important live stream. It's super significant. It's about the Jupiter Neptune conjunction on April the 12th, 2022. Now, I did a live stream back in March. I did it on March 7th. And I remember it was snowing that day, and I think the moon was in Taurus, and I was feeling there was like a lazy feeling that could be felt because it's very slow, and especially with the snow, you want to stay home and get comfortable and, be warm and cozy and enjoy the food that you're eating or sitting on your bed, um, having hot cocoa with a blanket, reading a good book or listening to um, a podcast or audiobook or music, or would be a wonderful day to meditate. Great day to meditate. And we're going to be having a really wonderful day to meditate tomorrow. Now, here where I live, the weather is supposed to be maybe a little bit rainy and stormy, which is going to be nice for the fact of Jupiter Neptune conjunction because it's very water introverted energy, great for going and reflecting and, you know, meditation and all of that, those sorts of things. And the moon is going to be in Virgo tomorrow. And the moon is in the opposite sign to where Jupiter and Neptune are going to be conjuncting. So the moon in Virgo. So the moon is your emotions. So you might be feeling very grounded, wanting to really, make sure that things are checked off the list. Make sure that you're eating the right supplements or the right food, or you're exercising right, you're taking your vitamins, that you have everything all together to where you can be successful in your life. And Virgo is very accountable energy. It is very mercurial. Mercury, by the way, is going to enter an earth sign, which is going to really slow down and stabilize our thinking process, but also open us up to the senses of, the throat. Taurus rules the throat. So speaking, singing, um, the beautiful, chicken cacciatore that you might be making, the chocolates, the um, morning coffee. It could be, now that it's springtime, the flowers are coming out. I know there are some beautiful yellow flowers coming out on the porch here. So it's wonderful for that. And also, working on something and taking the one step at a time approach and, really getting in tune with your breath, your um, breathing, and how it can really make you feel very centered and very aligned with a higher power, to where um, all those spiritual practices, such as oracle cards, um, you know, as being, you pull an oracle card and it basically is like talking to the divine and saying, this is what, you know, would be best for you. This is what I am inviting or suggesting you to do. Not that it's absolutely dictatorial that you have to, absolutely abide by it. Um, but so it's going to be, it's wonderful energy for that, for, um, all those types of things. to where you can look at the image and maybe sit with it and reflect on it and meditate. Not that you have to actually shut your eyes and do that, but just sort of, relax and just, you know, feel it, um, and what it means to you. And it's going to be really, really beneficial during this time. And also praying. There's also, your dreams, keeping a dream journal nearby your bed. And so if you wake up and if you remember your dream, you can just write it down because Pisces and Neptune is also very related to the dreams that you're having at night and the lessons that those dreams are sort of teaching you in a way because we have nightmares where these or horrific things happen and then that can change what we do, how we take action, how are we going to um, you know, walk up that hill but have all the necessary tools and tricks and techniques and have everything prepared and be able to really put in the work because Virgo is opposite Pisces, and the Virgo moon is so wonderful, so counterbalancing, so complementing toward this, this huge amount of Piscean energy. And we have Mars in Aquarius, so we want to be super free and super intellectual and go do something out of the box, go do something that is unheard of, unconventional, and connect on a wider, grand scale with different people in your community and expressing yourself as the individual in that community. So we have Mars in Aquarius, the Sun exalted in Aries, which is going to give you the energy and drive. Moving your body, getting outside, and wearing those clothes where you can really get out and run and stretch and move your body and get your mind going. Get the dopamine going, but it can also give you that strength, the bravery to go after what you need and want in your life, to where the head is a huge focus at this time, and how you're going to keep it, nurture it with the right health, things that are healthy foods that are healthy for Virgo, um, as well. And so Mars is just about to join the party on the 14th. Around the 14th, Mars will move into Pisces. And it's really going to add some reflection and invite us to be more reflective and compassionate and do things co-creatively with a higher power, not necessarily go 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 into it, but remember the compassion and prosperity is what we're going to do, going to help others, make others feel good, benefit others, you know or is it going to pull us apart from others? But I could, really, really go into a whole lot of detail about that, and I'm not going to. So, this is an incredibly rare event. We have Jupiter in Pisces. It's been in Pisces since the 29th of December 2021. And it's just been really moving super duper quickly through this sign. And then on May 9th, that's going to be the final day that Jupiter will be in the sign. And then on the 10th of May, Jupiter will move 0 degrees into the sign of Aries. And it's a wonderful time for initiating, starting things, being a pioneer in your own life, and um, taking action. Because Aries is, ruled by Mars, um, taking action and, really being in alignment with identity, because Aries is identity. I am. Um, I am is the phrase, and it's the first house of self. And that's super important to balance that in, especially because we're heading toward the full moon on the day of April the 16th. And I have a video about that I did. And, um, Pisces is all about the sort of divine connection that we all have to each other and that we have to everything, every living creature on this planet, every blade of grass, flower, the animals, and how they're all different, how we're all different, but how we're all one, how we are all one. And it's important to remember that and also bring in our own piece of the puzzle and not forgetting to draw our own boundaries and, um, you know, really put ourselves into the mix to remember that we are separate but connected. And it's that sort of, if you think about the two pants for labor, one over here and then the other over there, how those need to be sort of put into balance. And so the moon is in Leo now, which is giving a lot of fixed energy, great for drama, acting, being big and bold and loud, and going out and enjoying a nice meal at a restaurant that is totally new to you with all this flamboyant decorations and color and laughter, and it's going to be, it is huge. But I was noticing today, just the sort of soft energy. This is sort of dreamy, sleepy, not necessarily lazy, but just a very soft, quiet, peaceful, very uh, feminine energy to Pisces. And I think that one of the things that I kind of want to do is to go into just a little meditation section. Maybe I'll do that at the very end of this live stream. And I have my charger now. I don't want my battery to die out so quickly. Um, so Jupiter has been in Pisces. Jupiter wants to expand, explore, grow, have a party. Life is a ball of cherries. Life is so much fun. Be so, stretch out in the whole pan of infinite possibility and, you know, um, where the world is your oyster, right on the back of the wind. You know, I think of just, if you see birds that are so free flying in the sky, they are not held back or inhibited by anything. They are just um, being so graceful and being part of nature into the divine matrix that we're all inside right now, and watching out for those signs, those symbols from nature and what they have to communicate to us, really really being in tune to intuition, psychic sort of energies and messages, where you might be feeling more psychically attuned. And bear in mind where the 24 degrees of signs, especially mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, would fall in your chart because there's going to be a lot of Neptune highlighted, amplified energy, and where the observer will need to be turned on, being very aware and recognizing what you are in might be more reflective and not exactly energetically persuading and pushing you to do great things and giving you the stamina and drive and all of that. Um, and I'm going to talk about the higher road and the lower road of this as I'm going to get more into it. And I'm also going to be very creative when I'm talking about this. So, because Pisces is all about the creativity, it's all about imagining, making things up, just recreating things. Going into these other invisible worlds and then coming back from this great adventure on the beach with a woman named Peggy Sue. um, you know, where you might think, oh, what are you talking about? Well, I don't know. So there might be some random, um, really unusual, but very creative things that I might say. Who knows? So Jupiter in Pisces um, Jupiter rules Pisces. It's one of the rulers of Pisces. So Jupiter rules Pisces and Sagittarius. And I'm not here to talk about Sagittarius, but I'm here to talk about the fact that, um, this is, and I was talking about looking out for signs and omens. I have a oracle deck called Spirit Animal, and especially now that spring is coming out, any oracle deck or any tarot deck will do. Preferably an oracle deck because it's not a fixed system where there's more of a freedom and more of a creativity of it, where you can create your own name of the card, your own image, your own meaning. There's a deck that I got a couple months ago called The Shaman's Dream, and it's all about dreaming something new into being and having an intention and then releasing the intention to spirit and doing the Virgo practical accountable. I'm going to do this and I'm going to check things off the list and make sure that these things are as al puntos or perfect. That's what I told you, as they can be. um al puntos is my just word I created for being perfect, and then letting go, releasing, having hope and faith, and um you know and trusting and being open to the possibilities that could come, being open to the changes and the surprises and the miracles, as well, where you can really be in your own power of what you want to create, setting your intention, planting a seed, but then life on life's terms, trusting and releasing and real open heartedness. And I would also recommend for open mindedness as well. So anything is possible, dreaming big, where connection to a higher power, things like meditating, grounding you, centering you, anything having to do with the arts, writing, speaking creatively, painting, singing, music, Um, creating sculptures, getting out in nature, putting your feet on the earth, um, you know, doing, spiritual practices, journaling, releasing your feelings and also what you want to um, manifest as well. All of these spiritual practices and all of these, wonderful for video games and also film, watching movies over these, stories which are really, really touching and very profound, where there's a heightened empathy, a heightened compassion, a heightened sensitivity at this time to people's energies and what is going on, to where looking at different vibrations and different frequencies, or how things just feel, feelings of different things, people and situations, and if they raise you up or uplift you or make you feel on cloud nine and very high and evolved spiritual nirvana, very closer to the divine, happy, peaceful, content, joyous, blissful, or if they drop you down into the lower frequencies, lower vibrations. So that's also super sensitive. These planets are coming together. Neptune is all about all the things I talked about. So wonderful for the creative arts, anything artistic, anything creative whatsoever. Where this is really saying, I feel like, a huge thing is don't limit yourself, open yourself up to things. Let yourself be free to just say something imaginative or do something new and totally out of the box, totally creative, totally on your own terms. And Sun and Aries being the spiritual pioneer and doing what makes you feel fulfilled and happy. And, it could be, being in the present moment, doing things like cooking, trying new things, trying new recipes. Uh, could even be something like that, gardening, getting into the earth, anything that is really going to ground you and center you, that's going to feel, very, where you're really, really dropping in and uh, really, because the North Node in Taurus, what is going to give you stability. Um, so, those are all of those things, and I want to continue to talk more about this. And that was actually my little intro, and that was more than an intro. That was like a huge part of what I wanted to talk about. But there's more, and I'll talk about it. So this is super rare, this Jupiter Neptune conjunction. So this only happens 166 years. So Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces, this only happens 166 years. 1856 was the last time that it happened, and it was around the time where the planet Neptune was getting discovered. And I highly recommend a video that I was watching. If you put in um, how Neptune got its character, then you'll probably find a video by this lady who goes into great detail about what was going on in America during the time that Neptune was, getting discovered, about how people struck it rich with the gold rush, of how people took their gold pans and shovels and went out west and, dug themselves very deep into the ground in order to discover something very underwhelming, or as I say, pet rocking, something where, you know, having a dream and having a sort of fantasy and people migrating west and manifest destiny, Pisces, and manifesting, really, really go together. And I mean, there's so much that I could say, but with Neptune getting discovered, there was several compassionate movements. Slavery was around the time, I believe it was getting abolished. Women would have more rights of things. There were more psychically attuned things, Ouija boards, seances, magic, mystical type things, photography, moving pictures, you know, um, hypnotism, all those things are very, very related to Pisces and Neptune. One of the things that comes to mind, it's just amazing to think about just, that just in the midst of the 1800s, this occurred. I'm also thinking of a series that I watched several years ago. It was called Just Add Magic, and it's on Amazon Prime. And in this, I'm not going to give too much away. I don't want to spoil too much, but um, at the end of season 2, there is this vision of being in the 1800s where these two people who lived at that time were cooking a recipe. I think it was like mulberry pie or something like that. And this was a magic cookbook, and you can find so much more information about this if you see the show. But she ate the recipe and ended up in the cookbook. And so it was that kind of magic. And that may have been a little bit later, actually, after the great conjunction happened at that time. So the feelings and the energies, you can only imagine life at that time and feeling those feelings at the time. So that's something that I also wanted to speak to as well. But so I'm going to go through, a couple more things um, with this as well. So talking about Neptune, and I've talked about Neptune a little bit before, but so um, Neptune is, and really today, tomorrow is going to be the exact conjunction, but the energy is going to be around all month. So it's going to stick around. Um, and so we have Saturn square Uranus that is breaking up. So, that was going on in 2021. And I have to tell you, I'm looking forward to in May when Jupiter is going to enter Aries. It's going to give, the energy, enthusiasm, all of those wonderful things associated with Aries. And I mean, for me personally, I have kind of found the even years luckier in a way. I mean, 2020, not so much, but we're going to get so much more Aries energy next month, where Venus will move into Aries, Mars will move into Aries, Jupiter will move there. So we're going to be changing. There's going to be a shift of energy. And Aries and Pisces are really different energies. They're super duper uh, distinct from one another. So Neptune, the mirage optical illusions, like if you were to walk through a desert and then you were to see a line of water. Oh, but it's not water. So it's that sort of fooling you, tricking you, things not really being what they seem to be. Lies could come out, being manipulated, brainwashed, deceived, um, so many things because it's not clear. It's sort of um, foggy energy um, with Neptune. So there could be some confusion about the multitude of information and getting saturated in the information where it's so overwhelming. And there's a heightened sensitivity toward that as well, to where, one person says this thing, another person says that thing, and where boundaries are sort of blocked, to where Jupiter in Pisces can cause for a lot of floods because Pisces is mutable water, unbounded water. How we can all connect in the sea of oneness and not really be separate because water, if you were to put water in a glass, then, that boundary would be the sides of the glass, or whatever container that the Pisces water is in will definitely add for boundaries with that. So, Neptune, another one of the dark sides, is, Poseidon, the sea god, making for a lot of, you know, dark things with, wonderful magic and miracles, but then also, these monsters and these crazy, nightmarish uh, things, these invisible, karmic, spiritual, hidden uh, enemies, because it also can be related to that. And then it's also escaping from the reality, of we're living and not really wanting to be here, not really wanting to um, put in the work where we are, escaping into, technology or, video games or drugs and alcohol. It's also something else. But then we have the moon in Virgo and Mercury, which is your mind, in an earth sign. So that's going to really, really um, balance it out super duper well. Um, and it's going to help to ground all of us. So, um, and Jupiter and Pisces can be just too, because Jupiter, there's a saying too much of one thing is a bad thing. And so there's an over indulgent quality where it's so big, as Jupiter's big and fat. It's made up of so much gas. It's, um, you know, can be where the balancing and earthiness and moderation qualities are sort of put to the side, ignored. I don't think as much with the earth earth energy happening, but um, I think there could be that element as well. And then the other thing is victimization, being a victim to whatever going on instead of being powerful, co-creating, super high vibrations, super high frequencies, super in the waves of beauty and wonder and possibility of things going on and viewing things in a much higher, better way. So there could be a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, believing in lies that aren't really, that are breaking away from truth, and to where clear discernment, clear line that's drawn in the sand um, is super important. So, where there is healthy empathy and not so healthy empathy, where we end up in the hole and in the ditch, and we could have, it could have been an independent variable where we could have had control and could have avoided the negative situation, a negative circumstance. So, um, but it has to do, this really has a lot to do with compassion, where we feel other, where there's again a heightened sensitivity toward what other people are feeling, really being there for them, ultimate peace, as unconditional love as we can get. So this is a quote by Cafe Astrology. And Cafe Astrology, a very, very well known and incredibly popular site, said that a spirit of altrusion and generosity, making connect, because Jupiter is also very generous. It's a teacher that's just giving divine wisdom and guidance and hope and faith and love. Um, where everything is nothing and nothing is everything, and so on and so forth. Making connections with others from a different background, um, Mars and Aquarius, and Saturn there as well. Widening our minds through unusual or different experiences, expanded faith, and a feeling that anything is possible if we um, if we believe in it. It's all about belief. The saying is, I believe. Imagine that really popular song, um, how you can um, set an intention and let go and then see it in your life. But we want to get grounded and, do the practical action as well, which is Virgo. So, practical considerations could be on a back seat now. We more easily make personal sacrifices for what we believe to be the better good, is also a quote as well. So it says, everyday ordinary life doesn't satisfy as we hunger for a more idealistic life. It's also a wonderful time for romance, doing something romantic, doing something super um, creative, yes, but really bringing you that really special, uh, just this dreamy, lovely feeling of romance. So, this can certainly lead to disappointment or strong feelings of discontent or restlessness when, when we have a dream and that dream doesn't really happen the way that we think that it's necessarily going to. So again, that life on life's terms, um, you know, being open to the situations that are going to be happening. So there's a cloudy energy with this as well. Um, and so it's a wonderful time for envisioning new things, new creative endeavors and all those types of things. And then the last thing I want to say is that, the symbolism of Pisces is the fish going in opposite directions with a sort of, I think there's like a chain of knowledge and wisdom, but it's not clear where we are going. Like I think of that scene from, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when they were on that boat and going in that tunnel. of where these different images sort of came up and different feelings and visions and all these types of very graphic and very dynamic, disturbing type things. If you've seen that film, so there could be a fluidity, a feeling of going with the flow is really huge at this time. And also, just sort of it can be indecisive where we're following our intuition, our inner knowing, our inner guidance, our inner authority, um, and going this way and going that way and being okay with change. Um, and you know, those are really all the things that I want to talk about with this. So I want to do something that is going to be for me, but I think also um, really everybody here watching this. So I'm going to just invite you to really relax. So shut your eyes. Breath work is also huge at this time. So just take a moment to relax and close your eyes for just a moment. We can open our eyes. Pisces is also altered states as well, and this is an altered state to be in. Breathing easily, relaxing what's going on around you. Tuning out what are you seeing when you're closing your eyes? I see red, a dark color of red, like a curtain that I'm looking at. Red curtain on the stage. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy.